Picture this. You're building a coffin out of the hardest stone on Earth. It weighs 100 tons. The finish inside is more precise than anything a modern factory produces. You lower it underground into a narrow tunnel, and you put inside it a bowl, a regular bowl. That is what official science asks us to believe. 24 of these coffins, 5,000 years under the Egyptian desert. One of them was found with a bowl inside. The other 23, empty. Were they built for bowls? Or was there something else in them? Something that was taken out before anyone could ask, before anyone even knew to look, before Mariette found the sphinx head poking out of the sand in 1851 and followed it underground. The answer to that question is still open. What we have instead are the objects themselves. 24 granite boxes, underground, empty, still there, still waiting. The underground that shouldn't exist. The Serapeum of Saqqara, an underground labyrinth cut directly into bedrock. 300 meters of tunnels, side chambers cut into the walls. And in those chambers, 24 black granite sarcophagi that shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be there because they are too big for the tunnels. Shouldn't be there because the precision of their finish exceeds what any tool of the period could achieve. Shouldn't be there because nobody has been able to fully explain how they were made or how they got underground. But they are there, have been there for thousands of years. The official explanation does not account for the engineering. The official explanation does not account for the logistics. The official explanation does not account for the emptiness. 6 questions. The last one changes what all the others mean. The discovery. 1851. A French Egyptologist named Auguste Mariette is looking for something in Saqqara. He is looking for the Serapeum, a temple of the god Serapis mentioned by the ancient Greek geographer Strabo. Strabo described it. Mariette believed it existed. He just had to find it. And then, in the sand, he sees the head of a sphinx. Not a statue displayed in the open, a head sticking out of the desert floor. He starts digging. An avenue appears, sphinx after sphinx, buried in sand, lining a path that leads somewhere. He follows it. At the end of the avenue, a doorway cut into rock, a passage going down. Mariette goes in. The tunnel runs deep into the bedrock. The walls are cut from solid limestone. The air is dry and still. In niches along the walls, enormous black shapes, sarcophagi, each one the size of a small house, made from a dark stone so hard it looks almost black. Aswan granite, the hardest natural stone ancient Egyptians worked with at scale. Not limestone, not sandstone, granite. Brought from 800 kilometers away, finished to a standard that would not be explained for another 150 years. He finds one that has never been opened. The seal is intact. He breaks it carefully. Inside, a bull mummy, gilded horns, golden jewelry placed around the body, ritual objects, the kind of burial that says, "This animal mattered." He opens the other chambers. 23 more sarcophagi, every one of them empty. The lids either displaced or cracked. In some cases, the lids were pushed aside. In some, the stone itself was broken to gain entry. Someone had been in these chambers before Mariette, long before. Not archaeologists, not scholars. Someone who wanted what was inside and got it. Mariette had just found what they left behind. Now, here is the part nobody tells you about the discovery. Mariette spent years excavating the Serapeum. He cataloged what he found. He measured the tunnels. He described the sarcophagi. He noted that they were enormous and that their manufacturing quality was remarkable. He recognized he had found something significant. And then the academic world moved on. For over 150 years after Mariette found them, no precision engineering analysis was conducted on these surfaces. 150 years. The most precisely finished stone objects in the ancient world, sitting in a tunnel in Egypt, and nobody thought to measure them with modern instruments until 2019. That gap between finding and measuring is part of this story too. A gap of 150 years, during which the most precisely finished stone objects in the ancient world sat in a tunnel, and nobody asked what produced them. Watch till the end to find out what was taken from these coffins and who took it, and support us with a like. Let's continue. The weight of the problem. 70 tons. That is the average weight of each sarcophagus. The lid adds another 27. Total per unit, roughly 100 tons. A modern main battle tank weighs around 60 to 70 tons. Each of these coffins outweighs a tank. And there are 24 of them. 2,400 tons of granite placed in underground niches cut from bedrock. Let that number settle for a moment. 2,400 tons placed underground in carved stone niches in a tunnel system that runs 300 meters into bedrock. That is not a construction project. That is an industrial operation of a scale that would be challenging today. With cranes, with precision equipment, with modern engineering. In ancient Egypt, with copper tools and human labor. Let that settle too. The granite comes from Aswan, not a local quarry. Aswan is 800 kilometers from Saqqara. 800 kilometers of river, desert, and terrain. Before you even reach the entrance to the tunnels. But the distance is not the main problem. The main problem is what you encounter when you arrive. The main corridor of the Serapeum is roughly 3.5 meters wide. The sarcophagi, which sit in niches along those tunnels, are wider than the corridor. This is the part that stops engineers cold. 100-ton granite box that does not fit through the tunnel it sits inside. There is no explanation for this that does not require something extraordinary. Either the tunnels were built around the sarcophagi, which means the sarcophagi were positioned first in open space before the tunnel was cut, or the sarcophagi were manufactured on site in the niches from raw stone brought in piece by piece. Either scenario demands capabilities that the official record does not credit to the builders. Neither scenario has been demonstrated in practice. Neither has been ruled out. The question of how these objects got where they are has been sitting open since Mariette found them. The surface that should not be. Stand inside one of the Serapeum sarcophagi. Look at the walls. The surface is flat. Not roughly flat. Not smooth to the touch flat. Optically flat. The kind of flat that reflects light evenly across the entire surface without distortion. In 2019, an engineer named Chris Dunn conducted a detailed analysis of the interior surfaces using modern precision measuring equipment. His finding? The deviation from a perfect plane across the interior surface was less than 2/1000ths of an inch. 2/1000ths of an inch. Across a surface area large enough to contain a bull. Cut from granite, one of the hardest natural materials on Earth. That tolerance corresponds to the standards of modern precision machining, not ancient craftsmanship, not exceptional skill with hand tools, the kind of precision produced by modern grinding and lapping machines. The lids fit the sarcophagi with a gap smaller than a sheet of paper along the entire perimeter. Not at the corners, not along one side, the entire perimeter. Consistent, even, exact. To achieve this kind of fit, you need to grind two surfaces against each other with a compound abrasive until they conform precisely to each other. This process, called lapping, requires controlled rotational movement. It requires mechanical equipment. No evidence of rotating mechanical equipment has been found in the Egyptian archaeological record from this period. The tools that could produce this finish did not officially exist. And yet the finish exists, right there on the stone, measured, documented, still unexplained. The 800-kilometer question. The granite of a Serapeum sarcophagi is Aswan granite. This has been confirmed by geological analysis. Aswan is a city in southern Egypt, on the Nile. It is also the location of the ancient granite quarries that supplied stone for some of the most significant monuments in Egyptian history. The distance from those quarries to Saqqara is approximately 800 kilometers. By the standard historical account, this material was transported on the Nile, loaded onto barges, floated north, unloaded, and moved overland to the site. This method is well documented for Egyptian construction projects. It worked for obelisks. It worked for pyramid casing stones. It worked for statues. The problem with the Serapeum is not the 800 kilometers. The problem is what happens after the granite arrives. The tunnels are roughly 3.5 meters wide. The sarcophagi, which sit in niches along those tunnels, are wider than 3.5 meters. This means they cannot be moved through the finished tunnels, period. There is no technique, ancient or modern, for moving a 100-ton object through a space it physically cannot fit through, which means one of two things. Either the tunnels were completed after the sarcophagi were placed. In that case, how were the sarcophagi positioned before the tunnels existed? Or the sarcophagi were made on site, inside the niches, from raw blocks that were brought in and then carved in place. The second option requires that the quarrying, transportation, rough shaping, and precision finishing of 100-ton granite blocks all occurred inside an underground tunnel, in the dark, with chisels and abrasives, producing surfaces that meet the tolerances of modern machine shops. The engineering community does not have a consensus explanation for how this was done. The Egyptological community's position is that it was done using known ancient techniques applied with exceptional skill. No one has demonstrated this in practice. No team of experimental archaeologists has quarried granite blocks, transported them 800 kilometers, lowered them into underground tunnels, and finished the interior surfaces to 2/1000ths of an inch tolerance, using only tools from the ancient Egyptian inventory. This demonstration has never been attempted. The absence of the demonstration is itself interesting. If the standard explanation were true, the demonstration would be straightforward. What they found inside: 1 bowl, 23 empty chambers. This is the inventory of the Serapeum sarcophagi. The 1 bowl was found by Mariette in the only intact sarcophagus, the one whose seal had never been broken, mummified, with gilded jewelry, with ritual objects, clear evidence of an intentional burial of a significant animal. The official interpretation: all 24 sarcophagi were intended for the Apis bull, a sacred animal venerated as the living manifestation of the god Ptah. When an Apis bull died, it was mummified and interred with ceremony. The Serapeum was its burial place. This tradition is documented. The Apis bull cult was real. The veneration was genuine. The problem is not the bulls. The problem is the boxes. This interpretation is supported by inscriptions inside some of the sarcophagi dating to the New Kingdom period. The inscriptions are real. The ritual context is documented. But the interpretation rests on something that gets skipped over quickly in official accounts. The inscriptions are on the walls of the chambers. The sarcophagi themselves are significantly older than the inscriptions. Some researchers estimate that certain sarcophagi may predate the New Kingdom by centuries. Some place their origin in the pre-dynastic period, before Egyptian writing existed. If this is accurate, the sarcophagi were already ancient when the Egyptians of the New Kingdom inscribed those walls. Ancient enough that the people who wrote the inscriptions may not have known who made what they were writing on. The New Kingdom Egyptians may have found these chambers, inherited them, and adapted them for the Apis bull cult. Which raises the question the official record does not answer. What were these made for before the bulls arrived? What the precision is trying to tell us. The Serapeum is not an isolated case. This is the point that changes the shape of everything else. The same precision, surfaces polished to optical flatness, tolerances that correspond to modern manufacturing standards, appears at multiple sites across Egypt. The Valley Temple at Giza, the Osirion at Abydos, the granite coffer inside the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid. Everywhere that ancient Egyptians worked in hard stone at significant scale, modern engineers find the same thing. Precision that exceeds what the documented tools could produce. The Egyptological explanation is consistent across all these sites. Extraordinary skill, patient labor, exceptional craftsmen. Egypt did produce extraordinary craftsmen. The monuments are real. The dedication is documented. But craftsmanship is skill applied to a method, and the method's on record. Copper chisels, stone abrasives, sand grinding have physical limits. You can be the greatest copper chisel craftsman who ever lived. You still cannot achieve 2/1000ths of an inch flatness on granite with a copper chisel. The physics do not allow it. This is what the engineers are saying. Not that ancient Egyptians were incapable. That the specific results visible in the stone cannot be produced by the specific methods the historical record credits. Something else was used. Something that the official record has not accounted for. And the official record has been in place long enough and is entrenched enough that asking this question directly is treated as fringe speculation rather than engineering analysis. Even when the measurements are there, even when the tolerances are documented, even when no one can demonstrate the standard explanation in practice. The Serapeum sarcophagi are the most extreme example. But they are not alone. The granite coffer in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid has interior surfaces finished to similar tolerances. The Valley Temple at Giza uses massive limestone and granite blocks fitted together with sub-millimeter gaps. The Osirion at Abydos, a structure that some researchers date to before the Old Kingdom, uses megalithic granite blocks with precision jointing that matches the Serapeum. The same anomaly, the same precision, the same absence of an explanation that accounts for the engineering. Across multiple sites, across what appears to be multiple periods of Egyptian history. The official framework says these are all products of exceptional craftsmanship. The engineering analysis says the craftsmanship argument has physical limits that are not being acknowledged. Something produced these surfaces. We don't know what it was. And the discipline that is responsible for understanding what it was has been explaining it away for 150 years instead. The empty chambers. The Serapeum is open to visitors. You can go there. You can walk down the passage and stand in front of a sarcophagi. You can see the polished walls through the protective barriers. You can verify for yourself that these objects exist exactly as described. 23 of the 24 are empty, perfectly made, precisely finished to standards that confound modern engineers. Empty. The official explanation is that they were robbed. Whatever was inside was taken by tomb raiders at some point in antiquity. This is probably true, but the explanation assumes that what was inside was worth taking. An Apis bull mummy would not have been valuable to a tomb raider. The mummy itself has no material worth. The golden objects placed alongside it would have been. Mariette's intact sarcophagus had golden jewelry inside. The tomb raiders took the gold. That is not strange. But they also apparently removed the bull mummies from all 23 other chambers.
Bull mummies are heavy, decomposed, wrapped in linen. Not portable, not worth the effort. Why would a tomb raider bother? The official answer divides in two directions. 1. The bulls were never placed. Chambers were prepared, but burials were never completed. 2. Whatever was inside degraded and left no trace. Neither answer is fully satisfying. The chambers show evidence of use, sealed lids, broken seals, evidence of entry. Something was inside, something that was removed, something that was worth the effort of moving it. What that something was, the official record does not say. What the chambers themselves say is simpler. Whatever was inside is gone, has been gone for long enough that no living person remembers it. No written record from any period describes the full contents of these chambers. The Serapeum sits underground right now. The tunnels are lit for visitors. The barriers are in place. The sarcophagi sit in their niches where they have been for thousands of years, each one made to a standard nobody can fully explain. Each one empty. Each one in a tunnel they physically cannot have been moved through. Two questions without answers. What were these built to hold? And where did it go? The sarcophagi are still there. The tunnels are still there. The measurements are documented. The precision is confirmed. The logistics remain unexplained. And the chambers are empty. Have been empty for so long that whatever was in them left no trace. No organic material, no residue, no record that names it. Just precision stone. Just empty space. Just the shape of something that once occupied these chambers and is no longer here. And what it was. What was worth building this for? What was worth this level of precision? What was worth placing under the desert and sealing with 100-ton lids? Is a question that the official record has been sitting next to for over 150 years, without answering. The tunnels are still down there. The stone is still polished. The emptiness is still unexplained, and the question is still open. Has been open since 1851. Will probably be open for a long time yet.